as much as we love the Mach E, the charging infrastructure just sucks. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, it just straight up sucks. It's just not there.
Hey YouTubers, it's your girl Shannon from Tesla and Chill, and in today's video, we are gonna take the Mach E on its first ever road trip. I'm so excited to bring you guys with me here. Now this road trip, it is a 3-hour road trip, and we're going for 3 days, so it's kind of funny. But we are going from Washington, D.C. to Stanton, Virginia, I'm not sure which one it is. But we're going to the Massanutten Indoor Water Park, so J3 is gonna love it. Also, if you are a mom or dad, you might appreciate this shirt. Okay, it says mom sleep. It's just like regular sleep, but with no sleep. So if you can relate, drop something in the comments below. If you don't have kids, well, lucky you. Okay, but take a look at the back here, you guys. I'm so surprised about how much room there is. Okay, this is an extra large suitcase, you guys, but it looks like you could even stack, like, I don't know, maybe another one on top of it. So yes, we have lots of space in here, but we're all packed up. And again, that's like enough clothes for like 3 people. So I'm kind of proud of myself. But let's go ahead, let's unplug. And I think what's really exciting about this road trip is that this is the first time we're gonna be solely dependent on third-party chargers. Now, again, this Mach E is rated for 230 miles. So I don't really have a lot of range anxiety because we've done this trip before in our Tesla, and that's rated for 310 miles. But again, like, since we've had EVs for so long, again, I'm not super nervous about it, but I am excited just because it's the first road trip we're ever gonna do here. Now let's go ahead, let's hop in. Let's see how many miles we will have. We've charged this to be at 100%. So let's take a look. Okay, again, you see charged at 100%, and we have a range of 226 miles to start. Now that the vehicle is charged up, I have to go get my fuel, so we're gonna stop at Starbucks so I can get some hot chocolate. So let's hit the road. We're coming up on the first stop on our road trip, and technically we don't need to stop, but I really want to try out an Electrify America. Now, I've never used one before. You might remember I tried to charge at an EVgo a few weeks ago, but Electrify America, this should work with the Ford Pass. It should be plug and charge. I shouldn't have to do anything else. But you can see right now we've gone almost 83 miles. We're at 82.8. We're averaging 3.9 miles per kilowatt. And I think we're being super efficient. We're driving in the whisper mode, so we're being like super economical. But check out our range here. You can see that we have 158 miles left to go. So again, super efficient. So I'm actually really proud of this car. It's doing really well. Let's see, we've kept the heat off pretty much for the most part, although I do have my heated seats on, and the temperature is 63 degrees, so it is pretty warm out. But let's go ahead, let's try this Electrify America and see how it works. Here we are at the Electrify America, and real quickly, you might remember I showed you at the start of this car, we had about 226 miles of range that we had. Now we've gone 83 miles and we have 157 left. So if you add those together, that gives you like a range of 240 miles. So I think that's like super efficient. But let's go ahead, let's plug this in. Let's hope that it works. Again, it should just be plug and charge. We're gonna have to manually open this here. Now let's go ahead and flip this part down, get that DC charger up, and we should just be able to plug it in. So plug and charge did not work. It was actually really frustrating, kind of disappointing, and actually really embarrassing because we're at like a Sheetz right now and people were watching us. We had like other cars that were around us looking at us. So that was super embarrassing. We ended up trying to go through the Electrify America app, and that did not work. We tried the Ford Pass app, and that wasn't responding either. So we ended up paying with our credit card. We are now at 72% of a charge. We'll probably charge it up to 80%, and then we'll hit the road and we'll keep going. At least the good thing is, kind of like with some Tesla chargers, like this one is kind of at like a shopping center, so we might head over to Walmart and get some more snacks. Let J3 stretch his legs. Isn't he so cute? Jumping inside real quickly, let's look at the driver's display to see how our charge is going. It says that we will reach 80% of a charge at 2:39 p.m. on Friday, which is today. It's kind of confusing that they give the day. I wish they would just say today. But it is 2:29 right now, so it looks like it will take about 10 minutes to charge that much. I wish this was a little bit more like user-friendly or a little easier to read. But I guess that's what we've got for now. Maybe that could change in an over-the-air update. We'll see. Oh, and we have an adjustment. Okay, look, it just changed time here. Now it says 80% by 2:35 p.m. So we've got like 5 more minutes till we get there. And you can see on the screen we're at 74% here. We're at 80% of a charge, and it only costs $3.44. So I'd say that's pretty good. Now we can hit the road. Just over 100 miles into our road trip. You can see right here, we're actually at like 112 miles. But I want to take a second and talk about ride quality, because with this being a Mustang name, I didn't know how comfortable it would be for a road trip. I thought maybe like with that Mustang name, it might be a little bit like sportier, it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but maybe it's because it's an SUV, but this ride has been super smooth. The suspension is really soft. This vehicle is absorbing all the bumps in the road, and we have a really strong headwind that we're driving through right now, and wind reduction is working really well. Like, it's super quiet in this cabin. Again, it's just been like a really smooth ride. And something that I really like too is that when you buy the Mach E, we got 3 gigabytes of data for free through AT&T, and we are putting that to use right now. J3 is watching Blippi because he's been so good. We're rewarding him. He's being so good, and we have it charged through this USB that's down here, so that is super convenient. I think Ford definitely designed this with a family in mind, so I'm really thankful for that. And we've been using Google Maps, and we're used to using that, so that has been super convenient. But let's talk about lane centering and Copilot 360. You can see we've got it on right here. Now, we have been using the intelligent cruise control. So what that does is that modulates like the brake and the throttle from the car in front of us, but is also going to adjust the speed of the car to the speed limits on the road as they change. And we've set about like a 5 mile per hour buffer in there. So if the speed limit is 65, it'll let us go 70 because we're rebels like that. But I have to say, as far as like lane centering, again, that's working really well. I'm actually surprised at how well it works. Now, if I compare the lane centering to like my Honda Accord that use Honda Sense, is definitely better than that. But if you were to ask me how it would compare to Tesla's autopilot, I don't think there's really any comparison to that. Tesla definitely has, I think, exceeded like all car brands when it comes to that. But if you do compare it to like a lot of other vehicles that are on the road right now, Copilot 360 and this lane assist is definitely like far superior. So I'm really impressed with how well it's working. It's definitely making the road trip a lot more enjoyable. Now, we have about 30 more miles till we get to our hotel, so we're gonna dump our stuff off, and then we have about another 40 miles to drive before we get to the water park. So right now, I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride, because even these seats are really comfortable. Like, they've got some good cushion, but they also have support. And I like that you can adjust the lumbar area. Now, I never would have thought that would be like really important to me, but as I get older, I definitely appreciate it. So I'm gonna sit back and enjoy the ride, and I'll check in when we get to the hotel. You can see we are at 55% here. We had about 126 miles of range left. We went a little bit deeper into the menu, and you can see that you can find like an actual screen that shows your charging status. So we're gonna let this get a little bit of juice while we go check into the room. Right now, I have to say my stress level is probably an 8 out of 10 right now. Now, our plan was to just charge overnight at the level 2 charger at the hotel, but the one charger our hotel had was taken by a plug-in hybrid. Excuse me, a plug-in hybrid? Are you serious? Overnight? I don't think so. We figured we'd go next door, we would use their charger. That was also taken by a plug-in hybrid. So in the morning, one plug-in hybrid left, so we got just a little bit of juice while we were eating breakfast, but we figured no problem, we'll just come to an Electrify America, we'll get a third-party charge right here at a level 3 charger, and there are 4 stalls here, people, 4 of them. And I figured surely the Ford Pass app, the plug and play will work now. It should be really easy, we'll just plug and charge, no problem. Here's what happened. I went to plug in, the plug connected, like my light turned blue on the car. Even the charging stall made like the whirling sound like it was working. I was getting to be excited. I was pretty impressed. Got in the vehicle, not even 30 seconds later, it said that there was a connection failure. There was a charge failure. I figured maybe it could be user error. Maybe it's me. Got out, unplugged it, plugged it back in, same thing. I was getting a little bit frustrated, but it gets worse. I figured, okay, I'll just disconnect from the Ford Pass, the plug and charge, I'll disconnect from it. I'll just use my credit card, no big deal. We did that on the way up here. Does it suck? Yes, but I can do it. So I figured use my credit card. I didn't even get to insert my credit card and it said there was a mobile payment failure. So I'm getting a little PO'd right now, let's be honest. But I figured, okay, I can handle this. There are 3 other stalls I can use. I pull into another stall, get my credit card out, put it in, and it said payment declined, payment failure. You guys, I have shopped 1,000,001 places. My credit card has never been declined, and it gets declined here on a road trip. We have 164 miles of range left. You guys, our house is more than 164 miles away. Our stress level is a little high right now. We do not want to go home by a tow, absolutely not. Now, there are a few other EA chargers on our way back home, but I'm kind of skeptical right now. If 4 of these won't work, I don't know if others are going to work. I don't even think I can like try to sound happy right now because this is a little bit scary. It is like 2021. We're in a great vehicle. Our credit card should not be declined. As much as we love the Mach E, the charging infrastructure just sucks. Like there's no other way to say it. Like it just straight up sucks. It's just not there. As much as we love the car, if we can't get home, I don't want to have this vehicle. So I don't know what we're going to do right now. We're just going to try to like, I don't know, go to the next town. We'll try it there. It makes me really nervous because we have a son. I don't want to be stranded or have to bring him home in a tow truck. That would be ridiculous. I guess Uber is like our backup. But again, I'm going to be like super PO'd if we cannot get home like at a decent hour with our own vehicle. I have an EA station plugged in as our next destination, and you can see right here it's about 41 miles away, and our house is about 30 miles away on top of that. Now range-wise, the car has about 76 miles left on the battery, and so we're really going to reassess how much further we can go once we get to that EA charger, because honestly, if we don't have to charge there, I don't want to. I just want to go straight home. It might be cutting it close, but it might be worth it because the EA chargers have caused us so much unnecessary frustration on this road trip. But I do want to talk about the road trip because I think there are some important things we need to discuss. So I'm going to break it down into 2 categories. Number 1, how did the vehicle perform? This vehicle, you guys, the Mach E, it is a fantastic road trip vehicle. It's comfy, it's super spacious, it holds so much stuff, it's a super smooth ride. We were traveling through like a pretty strong headwind, and you could hear some of the wind, but it was actually really quiet inside here. I don't know if you can hear some of that wind now. But the noise reduction, it does an excellent job. And also, I really just like kind of being like a little bit higher up in an SUV. I think it's like a pretty comfy ride. But that being said, like as great as the Mach E is, I have to say, on the other hand of it, the charging infrastructure just straight up sucks. So this is going to lead me into like the second category we have to talk about. I have to say, like, we have to talk about the Ford Pass and Electrify America and EVgo, all of the third-party charging infrastructures. I've just really been let down. I've been super disappointed. I just have to say, like, straight up, it's been really crappy. We had a lot of problems going to the destination of our road trip, and we've encountered a lot of problems where we couldn't even charge our vehicle going back home. And that is so, so stressful. I have to say, coming from like a Tesla, because our other vehicle is a Tesla Model 3, we drove that vehicle down to California and back to Washington State when we lived there. We drove the vehicle from Washington State across the country to Washington, D.C. And never once did I have any question or doubt that like we would not be able to charge at a Tesla Supercharger. They have always worked for us. We've never had a problem. I even rolled into a Supercharger once with 4 miles of range left, but I just knew, like, I had confidence the Supercharger was gonna work. It never even occurred to me that like it couldn't work. But now that I have this Mach E, like, I'm kind of a little bit nervous about our next road trip, to be honest. And like, even like going on that a little bit further, if I was traveling as like a single woman, like if I had to go on a road trip tomorrow and it was just me, myself, or even if I had G3 with me and you asked me which vehicle I wanted to take, the Mach E or the Tesla, without a doubt, I'm gonna go in the Tesla because I just have confidence in the charging infrastructure. I know that it's gonna work every time I get there. Now, if I'm traveling in the Mach E, like, I don't have that kind of confidence in the third-party like charging infrastructure. I've been really let down by the Ford Pass app. Ford, you guys need to get on it and fix it. Like, I bought this car with the thought that it was going to work, like you told me. It's advertised that like it's gonna work with Electrify America. It's gonna be plug and charge. I don't have to do anything else. Ford even gave me 250 kilowatts of free charge, but I haven't even been able to use 1 kilowatt because the Ford app just doesn't work. It's been so frustrating when I even like go in to use like a EA charger and I plug in, I end up turning the Ford Pass app off because it's trying to communicate with the charger, but it's not working. So I have to turn it off so I can use my credit card. And like you saw earlier, even the credit card wouldn't work. There was like a mobile pay failure. So that is super frustrating. It's super stressful. Again, it is not confidence inspiring at all. So if you asked me like if 230 miles of range, if the standard battery is enough, I'd have to say yes and no, and I'd really encourage you to evaluate your lifestyle. So if you're gonna go on like long road trips like we do, you're gonna have to like get familiar with the PlugShare app ASAP. You're gonna need to download that, and you're gonna need to know like where your primary charging destinations are. But you're also gonna need to like maybe conserve some miles. Maybe you might need the extended battery because if that charger doesn't work, like it didn't work for us, you're gonna need to know where your backup chargers are that you can go to. So in our case, I have to say, like, even though it works for us right now, I don't know, I might want to reconsider and maybe like next time get the extended battery. But if you're only traveling around town, you don't do a lot of road trips, maybe the 230 mile standard battery will be perfect for you and you can just do a lot of charging at home. It's just something to consider based off your own personal lifestyle and preferences. For me, again, I never really had a lot of concerns with my Tesla. Like I said earlier, we ran the range down to like 4 miles once and never had a problem. But now, honestly, like I have some concerns. I want to keep like a mileage buffer now for future road trips. And we are going to do future road trips for sure. To be honest, I'm probably going to have to like get past this stress. Like it's probably going to take me like 3 weeks to cool off because again, I'm super disappointed in EA. I'm super disappointed in Ford. Again, you guys have to like up your game because it's 2021. There is no excuse for this. Like those stalls should work. If I plug in, I need to know that I can charge, I can get where I need to go. And again, it's 2021, technology is at its peak. If a stall isn't working, they should be able to remotely like go in, either fix it or at least put something on the screen saying the stall is out of order and I can just go to the next stall. So would I recommend this vehicle to others? Yes. But if you're going to be doing a lot of road trips in an EV, would I recommend this vehicle as a non-Tesla? No. If you're going on road trips, you want a Tesla. And honestly, that's just how I feel. I hope my feelings change towards that. I hope that improvements can be made with the third-party infrastructure because that's where a huge part of the problem lies. But right now, that's just my honest feelings. I'm going to keep you guys updated because we are going to do more road trips. Not by myself, I for sure am bringing my husband. But we are gonna do more road trips. I wanna bring you guys with us. I wanna hear your thoughts too. Tell me if you've ever encountered these problems before. Drop me a note in the comment and let me know. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my channel grow so I can take more stressful road trips for you guys. We just got back home and I've never been so happy to roll into my own driveway. It feels so good. Home sweet home, am I right? But okay, let's take a look here. I feel like I'm still stress sweating right now. I should probably like jump into the shower. But let's take a look here. I want to show you we got home with this light flashing at us that said low battery. We have 8% battery left, which gave us 20 miles of range. Normally, if I was going to like the grocery store or around town, like I'd be okay with that number because like I know where I am. But on a road trip, that is super stressful. But we're home now, so I can kind of relax. But also, let's take a look here. I want to show you this. So this is our whole trip right here. We went 439.1 miles. Now we had an average of 3.5 miles per kilowatt. And this is really cool that Ford does this. This gives us like a breakdown of our energy consumption. 94% of our energy went to the route. A little bit went to climate use at 2%, some to accessories and some to the external temperature. And if you go just a little bit lower, it'll give you like an even further breakdown. Now, I'm not completely sure like what these numbers mean. So if you understand what it is, drop it in the comments below. But this gives you just a little bit more detail about your acceleration, deceleration, and your speed. Now, that's all I've got for now. Drop me your comments below. I would love to know your thoughts on this road trip. If you want to see us go somewhere else too, share those thoughts with me also. Okay, don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna go shower. That's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.